Sup, it's episode 34 of WoW. It's Random Thoughts Volume 2, and the topic is when shit hits the fan. Now, first I want to apologize for the sweat on my face, actually. It's fucking hot, eh? Like, what the fuck happened? Like, we had no summer, and then all of a sudden, mid-September, it's like fucking feels like 39 degrees. So give me a second to wipe my face, what'll probably happen a few times in the video, just because, I took out my AC about a month ago because it was freezing, and I'm not going to put it back in just because we decided to have some kind of hot weather for like a week or so. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to suffer. So I apologize for the sweat. The second thing I'm going to apologize for is the inconsistency with the videos. It kind of ties into what I'm about to talk about, which is when shit hits the fan, right? So the issue with the videos is that right now, like, there's a lot of things going on for me. There's a lot of different like opportunities and situations, and a lot of them are not complementing each other. They're kind of clashing with each other, and it's all good stuff, right? I mean, there is some bad shit that's going on, but it's minimal for the most part. There's a lot of cool, exciting things going on that if you follow me on my social media channels in the future, you'll kind of get a glimpse at exactly some of the things I'm kind of involved with. But like, shit's hitting the fan, right? So what I want to say about that is that sometimes shit can hit the fan in a positive way. It's like when you have a lot of things going on, you have a lot of new opportunities. And also sometimes shit can hit the fan in negative ways, such as a hurricane smashes your house or something, So what I want to talk about today is when shit hits the fan in a positive way and when shit hits the fan in a negative way. So first I'm going to talk about when shit hits the fan in a positive way. This is pretty much when you just have a lot of kind of good stuff going on, a lot of new opportunities, lots of things happening. I want to say productive. Some people say busy, but there's a big difference between being busy and being productive, which is something I'll explain in a future WoW episode, whatever. But pretty much, when shit's hitting the fan in a positive way, there's some things you got to keep in mind. First of all, when opportunity knocks, you got to be prepared to swing the bat. Because if you're not prepared to swing the bat, then what ends up happening is the opportunity flies away. And sometimes, opportunity only comes around once, like Halley's Comet. Or Halley's Comet comes around once every 76 years or something like that, right? So that's the whole thing. Like, when the opportunities do come to you, you got to be prepared to swing the bat, and sometimes you got to sacrifice, your regular daily routine flow, whatever, just so that you can implement these new opportunities. And then it comes to my second point, which is adapting to the changes, because the more things you start taking on, it becomes a balancing act, which is what I'm trying to do right now. And at the same time, you can't stop paying attention to other things that were going on before, such as my WoW videos. Otherwise, you could end up fumbling the ball and kind of losing out, and then everything kind of just falls apart and breaks. So when shit hits the fan in a positive way, the conclusion of that is that you got to be ready to swing the bat when the opportunity comes. And the second thing is that you have to be able to find a balance, and you have to be able to implement and adapt these new things into your schedule and your daily routine in a way so it doesn't jeopardize things you already had kind of going on, right? So this is something I'm in the progress of doing right now. Honestly, I want to say the videos will still be coming out every Wednesday or whatever, or every week, but it's kind of difficult right now. And it's just about figuring out that balance and that juggling act and locking it down in a way so that all these things that are kind of seemingly clashing with each other, that are all good and productive and positive things, can kind of just work together, and I continue to be on time with, everything that I've signed up for. On the flip side of shit hitting the fan in a positive way is when shit hits the fan in a negative way, right? This is pretty much things that suck or are negative, but that are imperative that you have to deal with. And I think one of the main differences about when shit hits the fan in a positive way and a negative way is that the positive stuff, you don't really have to deal with it, right? So let's say, for example, you're working your 9 to 5, and your boss kind of offers you overtime And I mean, that would cause shit to hit the fan in a positive way, right? Because it kind of just fucks up your whole routine and your schedule and your time with your family and blah, 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 blah. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. You could just be like, nah, I'm not down kind of thing, right? But when shit hits the fan in a negative way, such as in May we had the flood in Montreal, it's not the kind of thing that if you were in one of the areas that was affected by the flood, that you could just sit back and be like, I'm not going to deal with this right now. Because if you do take on that mentality when shit hits the fan in a negative way, you don't just miss out on an opportunity, you end up losing. So when shit hits the fan in a negative way, something you got to keep in mind is, number one, not everything is going to go as planned ever in life. You got to hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst. And as well, realize that the only thing you really have control over is how you react towards things, right? So it's about keeping control of yourself and remaining like resilient and centered when shit hits the fan in a negative way, right? Like such through a disaster, if there's like a death or whatever, or even sometimes, it'll happen where all of a sudden like you get laid off from work because the section at your company is you kind of irrelevant in your industry, and all of a sudden like you're jobless and you can't get another job because your job doesn't exist anymore. And it brings me to my second point, which is to roll with the punches and adapt to the changes or die kind of thing. But one thing is for sure, whether shit's hitting the fan in a positive way or a negative way, you just got to keep on trucking. You got to keep going. You got to roll with the punches, go with the flow, because that's life. So what are your thoughts? How do you keep your life balanced when shit's hitting the fan in a positive way? How do you remain centered when shit's hitting the fan in a negative way? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you know someone who would find this video helpful, feel free to share with them, because sharing is caring. I'll be posting episode 35 maybe next week. I post a new episode maybe on Wednesdays. And in the meantime, you can email me at tc@troycarter.com if you have something you want me to talk about, as well as follow me on my social media channels and subscribe to my YouTube channel so you'll be the first to know when I post something new. Peace.